Hook, the emotional punch. Most people never become great, not because greatness is impossible for them, but because they never become the person capable of greatness. Your life doesn't change when luck shows up. Luck rarely saves anyone. Your life changes when you change, when the old identity collapses, and the new one rises in its place. This is the story of a man who learned that truth the hard way. A man not born special, not given shortcuts, not chosen by fate. A man just like you. A man who discovered the 7 identity shifts that make you unstoppable. 2. Set the scene, the relatable struggle, the life that felt too small. Ethan Mercer was 32 when the quiet collapse of his life became too loud to ignore. He lived in a cramped, aging one-bedroom apartment, walls cracked like the timelines of dreams long abandoned, paint peeling the same way his ambition had been stripped down, year after year. His days were predictable to the point of suffocation. Wake up exhausted, commute through traffic that felt like a metaphor for his life, stuck inching forward but going nowhere, clock in, complete tasks he felt nothing for, pretend enthusiasm in meetings, eat lunch alone, scroll for escape, clock out, return home, sleep, repeat. He wasn't failing, he wasn't crashing, he wasn't broken, but he wasn't living either. It was the worst kind of suffering, not pain, but emptiness, the kind of life that doesn't destroy you suddenly, but erodes you silently. Yet the worst part wasn't the monotony, it was the knowing. Ethan knew he was meant for more. Somewhere deep inside, a better version of him was screaming for food. But no matter how many times he tried to reinvent himself, new goals, new habits, new plans, new promises, nothing lasted. He changed his behavior, but never changed the identity beneath it. And that's why his life always snapped back into place, like a rubber band being stretched toward potential, and then released back into the familiar. Because wanting a better life doesn't create one, becoming a better person does. 3. The story, the journey begins. The park bench that changed everything. One cold October night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The pressure in his chest, the weight of wasted potential, felt unbearable. So he walked, past dim streetlights, past silent buildings, into the quiet part he usually avoided, because silence forced him to confront himself. He sat on a lonely bench under a flickering moon, and exhaled a breath that felt like surrender. And he saw him, an older man, late 70s maybe, calm, present, almost impossibly grim. He sat under his bench as if waiting. Their eyes met, a silent acknowledgement of his. Then the old man spoke. "You're tired of living a life beneath your potential." Ethan froze. The man continued. "Your shoulders carry the weight of all the versions of yourself. You never became, and should erase you, Ethan. How do you know that?" The man smiled softly. "Because I once lived the same way." He leaned forward, eyes sharp and compassionate. "You're stuck, not because you lack ambition, not because you lack discipline, not even because life is hard. You're stuck because you're trying to build a new life, with the identity of your old self." Ethan swallowed. "What does that mean?" "It means your life cannot transform. Until you do, there are 7 identity shifts that every unstoppable person makes. Learn them, and everything in your world will change." Something awakened inside Ethan, a pulse of possibility he hadn't felt in years. "I'll learn them," he said quietly. And with that, the transformation began. Not with fireworks or breakthroughs, but with a decision. A decision to bury the version of himself that kept him small. The 7 identity shifts. The transformation of Ethan Mercer. Shift 1. From victim, creator. The weight of blame. For years, Ethan lived in subtle victimhood. "My job drains me. My past messed me up. No one supports me. The economy is bad. Other people have opportunities one don't." He didn't voice these thoughts, but he lived through them. Victimhood is quiet, comfortable, invisible, but deadly. The old man said, "Blame is the most comfortable prison in the world." Victims complain, creators adapt, victims surrender, creators design their destiny. That night, Ethan stood before his mirror and whispered a truth that cut deep. My life is my responsibility. I created this, and I will recreate it. It humbled him, freed him, and it opened the door to every shift that followed. Shift 2. From wishing, deciding. Desire changes nothing. Decisions change everything. The old man said, people don't fail because they lack desire. They fail because they never decide. Ethan wanted success for years. He wanted fitness. He wanted more money. He wanted purpose. He wanted confidence. He wanted a better life. But wanting doesn't move the needle. Wanting is passive. Wanting is emotional. Wanting is cheap. Decision is different. A decision is a contract with your future. A line you cross that says, I'm not going back. So Ethan wrote on a sticky note and placed it on his mirror. I decide to become the man I am capable of being. Not someday, not when fear calms down, not when life becomes convenient. Now, and that decision created momentum nothing else ever had. Shift 3. From fear, courageous action. Doing it afraid. For most of his life, Ethan waited for confidence before action, for clarity before commitment, for certainty before steps. But the old man told him, courage is doing it afraid. Confidence comes after. So Ethan acted, shaking, doubting, sweating, but acting. He applied for better jobs, even when he felt unqualified. He launched the small business idea he buried for years. He approached people he admired. He stood up in meetings. He practiced uncomfortable skills. He entered rooms where he felt out of place. Fear didn't disappear. It simply stopped being the driver. Every courageous action remodeled his identity. He was no longer a man who avoided fear, but a man who moved despite it. Shift 4. From distracted, disciplined. The silent enemy of greatness. The old man offered a truth Ethan couldn't unhear. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Ethan realized distraction was stealing his life. Social media, endless browsing, escapist entertainment, small dopamine hits with big long-term costs. So he eliminated ruthlessly. He deleted draining apps. He built a morning routine. He replaced scrolling with reading. He scheduled his nights for skill building. He guarded his time like treasure. His days shifted from chaotic to structured, from reactive to intentional. His life began to feel like his life again. Shift 5. From doubt, self-belief. The enemy within. The old man said, you will never outperform your self-image. This hit Ethan hard. Every time he tried to rise, a voice inside whispered, you're not good enough. You're pretending. You'll fail again. Play it safe. Where did those voices come from? Years of disappointment, years of comparison, years of playing small. So Ethan started rewriting the script. I am capable. I am disciplined. I am worthy of success. I am becoming unstoppable. At first the words felt fake, like clothes too big for him. But identity grows into repetition. Eventually, the beliefs weren't affirmations. They were truths, and life mirrors the person you believe you are. Shift 6. From comfort, growth. The price of the future is the death of the past. This shift hurt. Growth demanded sacrifice. Ethan let go of old habits, old excuses, old routines, old comfort zones, old self-limiting beliefs, and even old relationships that wanted him to stay the same. Growth became lonely, uncertain, uncomfortable, but the old man told him, your comfortable self and your future self cannot coexist. So Ethan embraced discomfort, early mornings, harder workouts, financial discipline, skill development, networking, taking risks regularly, consistency over motivation. He wasn't chasing a better life. He was becoming a stronger identity. Shift 7. From trying, becoming. The final breakthrough. The old man's final lesson. your old identity is still alive. Becoming means you've crossed the point of no return. Trying negotiates. Trying hesitates. Trying depends on motivation. Trying leaves room for escape. Becoming is different. Becoming is identity level change. Ethan stopped trying to be disciplined and became disciplined. Stopped trying to succeed and became the kind of man who succeeds. Stopped trying to act confident and became someone who naturally speaks with conviction. He didn't try to change his life anymore. He became someone whose life could not stay the same. And that was the true transformation. The end of his old identity. The birth of the man he was meant to be. 4. Wisdom breakdown, the deep lessons 1. Acknowledge the pain. You feel stuck because the identity creating your life is outdated. 2. Understand why. Identity is repetition. Habits, environment, beliefs, memories. Without identity change, history repeats. 3. What you must do. Rebuild identity deliberately. Change your habits. Change your thoughts. Change your standards. Change your environment. Change your circle. Change your self-talk. Change your expectations. Change what you tolerate. Identity doesn't shift by accident. It shifts by design. 4. Here is your hope. Identity is not fixed, not inherited, not limited by your past. It is fully rewritable. 5. Your power. Once identity shifts, discipline feels natural. Consistency becomes normal. Success becomes inevitable. Motivation becomes secondary. Identity creates momentum. You no longer need to force. 5. Call to transformation. Who you must become. This is your moment, your park bench night. This is the moment you stop negotiating with your weaker self. This is where you bury the identity that settles, hesitates, doubts, avoids, shrinks, breaks promises, lives small, and you whisper, I refuse to be who I used to be. I am becoming unstoppable. Your future self is waiting. Reach him. 6. Cinematic closing message. The world may not applaud you today. Your results may not show tomorrow. But if you transform your identity, nothing will be able to stop you. Not fear, not failure, not time, not doubt, not circumstance. Because the strongest force in human nature is the story you believe about yourself. Change that story, and you change everything. 7. End card CTA. If this awakened something in you, if you felt your new identity rising, watch the next video. It's the one your future self needs you to see.